Yeah, we're making a video about a 14-year-old. That sounds really bad out of context, but there is a reason this guy is on people's radars. You see, the WHL Prospects Draft in 2025 has just concluded, and as you can see, a whole bunch of names have discovered their next stops on their junior hockey playing careers. Some of these guys are playing on U15 teams. Others are playing on U18 teams. These prospects are in that age range, around 14 years old. It's always been a meme that the best hockey names will be found in the CHL entry drafts. Athens Shingus is an interesting name. Crosby Mateychuk, Mateo Ferreira. But if you scroll down all the way to 115, you will find a very particular name that was drafted by the Medicine Hat Tigers. Duke Lesnar. Out of the Notre Dame Greyhounds U15 Prep School League from Alexandria, Minnesota. This, everybody, is none other than the son of a celebrity. Brock Lesnar's child has been drafted into the WHL, and this is the profile over here. Duke Lesnar, 14 years old, born July 21st, 2010, 5'11", 168-pound left-handed forward. And you can see here, his father is Brock Lesnar, his mother is Sable, so nice to see the WWF connections getting in here. Look at that, Duke Lesnar is the second most popular player on Elite Prospects right now. That's interesting. Playing out of the Notre Dame Hounds U15 prep team in the CSSHL, Duke Lesnar scored 28 points in 30 games played and had 43 penalty minutes in these games. Not to mention that he had 3 points in 4 games in the playoffs. This is a very intriguing hockey name who is now bridging the gap between pro wrestling and the blade sports on the ice. Let's take a look at just some of the other things here. He has some endorsed skills in hitting, strength, aggression, shooting accuracy, shot power, and leadership. That's particularly nice. Hitting and strength. I don't want to go out there and start seeing F5s on the ice, but if Brock Lesnar's son is going out there and laying the smack down on these other folks, then I can get with that. I can understand it. There isn't really much information here, unfortunately, when it comes to the Duke Lesnar report. I mean, there is a link here to Neutral Zone's article, which had the WHL Draft Final Rankings Top 300, and it's exclusive content, so you can't go out there and read it unless you have a Neutral Zone subscription. There are some other evaluations here on players, but I think it's all behind a paywall because the Neutral Zone is not free. Duke Lesnar, though, is an extraordinarily interesting name. Now, there are some clips going around of Duke Lesnar from his time with the CSSHL, and this clip in particular, it's a nice little goal that he had scored. It's not really the most craziest out-of-this-world type of move, but he does go out there and display a little bit of a dangle. He comes in towards the goal, little sidestep to get around Lopez there before firing the puck into the goal. Nice little nifty play out of Brock Lesnar's son. And of course, there is going to be some hype for this guy, especially when you consider the physical edge and what the WHL is particularly known for in that respect. Duke Lesnar, I'm not going to say that this guy's guaranteed to be anything at the National Hockey League level, but considering the crazy genes that he was born with, the fact that Brock Lesnar is a UFC and WWE champion, there's a lot of excitement to be had here. Now, just for those who want the scoop as to NHL potential, he was born July 21st, 2010, so he will be 18 in 2028, meaning that he is eligible for the 2028 NHL Entry Draft. So, yeah, kind of interesting to see that. We will have to wait 5 years before potentially seeing Duke Lesnar suit up in the National Hockey League, assuming, of course, he doesn't absolutely explode and become a top prospect. If he does that, then maybe There's a chance that we see him in the NHL sooner. Who knows? If he becomes a top prospect in 2028, a first-round guy who makes the NHL right away, then the sky is the limit here. But we also do have to bring this talking point up as well. We don't talk about this particular talking point often because you just don't really see it out of guys that are not 14. But this guy is 14, and he's 5'11", 168. How many other kids were growing out there and reaching their absolute peaks at 14 years old? I'd say very few. I'd say maybe I was one of the only guys that I knew in my circle that kind of maxed out at 14. Yeah, I was 14 and 5'3". I was one of the decently middle-heighted guys in my high school here in Vancouver, British Columbia, but at 15, 16, 17, I didn't grow. I'm stuck at 5'3", and I'll be this height pretty much for the rest of my life, but everybody else started growing around me. Duke Lesnar, 5'11", at 14 years old, there is no shot this guy doesn't reach 6 feet and then potentially gets up there even more because he's Brock Lesnar's son. Brock Lesnar, if we go over to his profile, I mean, this is on Wikipedia right here, but Brock, 6'3", 286. Now, of course, these could be inflated because it's professional wrestling. Oh, he actually was 6'3", 265 in the UFC, so he was hovering in that range. I mean, if Duke Lesnar ends up getting this kind of a profile, this would be like an Alex Ovechkin on steroids type of deal here, because Ovi's what, like 240, 250? There could be some serious heavyweight business going on in the NHL if Duke Lesnar continues to progress in this way. Of course, nothing is guaranteed. We'll wait and see next season whether or not Duke Lesnar has what it takes to continuously get up there. He's not going to be in the WHL right away because he's only 14, he'll be 15 in July. So I think if he were to make it into the WHL this upcoming season, I think he would need exceptional status to do that, and of course he's not going to get it. So we're probably not going to see Duke Lesnar suit up in Medicine Hat until maybe 2026, 2027. And at that time, the Medicine Hat Tigers probably won't have Gavin McKenna anymore. There has been this sort of talking point that says, hey, like, Gavin McKenna, the first overall pick in 2026's draft, is going to be playing with Duke Lesnar, so that's going to be great. But, like, it's unfortunate, but I don't think the timelines are going to align here, unless, of course, Duke Lesnar plays in the WHL this upcoming season, which is probably not going to happen. Or unless Gavin McKenna ends up playing in the WHL again in 26-27, which again, probably not going to happen. That guy torched the entire WHL, even though he was only 16, 17 years old. I mean, you talk about the workhorse from Whitehorse and Dylan Cousins. Gavin McKenna is the workhorse from Whitehorse number 2. 17 years old he had just turned in December, and he had 129 points in 56 games played. You cannot stop this guy, and he'll probably play one more season in the WHL before heading over to the NHL in 26-27, so unfortunately, I don't think that Duke Lesnar is going to have the opportunity to play alongside of McKenna. But either way, there still is a lot of excitement to be had out of this prospect in the WHL. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Brock Lesnar's son, Duke Lesnar, getting drafted into the dub and potentially stepping onto the path, the road to WrestleMania. No, the road to potentially playing in the NHL. Who knows? He'll play in the dub at some point, hopefully. But for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.